Hey guys, welcome back to Road Hard Restorations. Today we are working on the 69 Camaro SS 396 4-speed car. Yeah. What we're going to do today is install leaf springs, which I have sitting under here underneath the El Camino, which I will be getting done here shortly. But I wanted to get something done on this Camaro. So what we have here is some measuring tape, high visibility. And oh gosh, the center of the bumper is right at 11 inches to the ground. On this side, we're at 12 inches to the ground. So the car, which is visibly leaning on the left side, because it has a bent leaf spring. So we had these traction bars on there before, and I'll show you where the spring is bent. I believe it's from hard launches with these traction bars. But first, let me get the back end up in the air. All right, so here we are on the passenger side. You can see the leaf spring here, nice and straight. And then here you can see where the rubber bumper of the traction bars was pushing on it right here. So here we are on the passenger side. I don't know if you can tell right away. This is actually bent right here. But you can actually see where the traction bar was pushing right here. And that's right where the bend is. So the spring is shot, and that's part of why it's got that lane to it. So we're gonna switch these out. I got some brand new ones. So let's get to it. Looks good. Took the plate off of the driver's side. This is actually goes on the passenger side because it has this little retention bracket here for the cable. They had it mounted on the wrong side, so when I put this back together, I'll put this on the right side and then put this one over yonder. So yay. Oh, the other thing that the shop did is they put metric bolts for the lower shock mounting. I don't know why they did that, but obviously Chevy didn't put metric bolts on the 69 Camaro. So I got the axle free here, and the spring is going to be binding up on this e-brake cable, so I got to disconnect it. I tried pulling it from that little guy right there, but I need to make some more slack further down there where there's that adjustable bolt, or a nut rather, to loosen the slack on the cable so I can disconnect it so I can get the spring out. I backed off the two nuts on this adjuster. You don't have to take it all apart. Just back it off enough to give you enough slack. Then you can disconnect the cable here. Basically, it just have enough slack to get it through the hole. And then you take this pin out right here, this clip I should say, and then slide the cable out. Punch the little boot. And then now that will hang down where I can actually get the spring out. You gotta be careful with some of these springs. Sometimes they're under tension, or they're, in a bind or what have you, from just the spring tension or the weight. And when you take them off, they'll want to pop on you, up or down or whatever. So just make sure you keep your fingers out of any potential pinch points. And just be careful. Pay attention to what you're doing. So the front of the leaf spring has this bracket that it sits in, and it goes up into the body, held on with 3 bolts. And it's got these U-nuts or J-nuts, 1, 2, and there's another one right here. These were pretty rusty. I almost didn't get it out. I was worried about snapping the bolt off. I just kind of worked it back and forth until it finally decided to unthread. So I'll clean up the threads a little bit and before I reassemble it, make sure it goes back together smoothly. And yeah, so just be careful with it. I did have the spring supported with just a little scissor jack, just so it wouldn't fall as I'm taking the bolts out. Once I got the bolts out, I just lifted up on the spring, slid the scissor jack out, and then just able to lay this on the ground. All right, so now I just need to disconnect the spring hanger in the back. There's just 2 nuts, and then that'll come apart, and then just reverse the operation. This thing right here also had a rubber insulator, so if yours isn't reusable, make sure you order one of these, or a pair of these, to put it back together the way it was. So here is the setup. This is the bracket that bolts to the underside of the car. It actually goes like that, but everything's upside down right now. Got the bolt and the nut and the lock washers. You can see there's a little bit of difference between the style, but the overall width is correct. You can see some variation in the OEM versus the aftermarket. So this is not like a, what you call a concourse or whatever, if provided that these are the original springs. But overall length and arch looks to be about the same. But here you can really see the difference, or maybe you can't on the camera, but this is where it's bent right here. So now it's just reverse the order of operations and then do the same again on the other side. Got the leaf springs in, everything's buttoned up, e-brake cables back together, got the adjuster tightened back up, got the plates on the right side. There's the other side brake connection here for the parking brake, got that all back together. New leaf springs are in. This is the bracket that I was talking about where it holds the cable. So that's back where it belongs, so it keeps it from rubbing on the spring. That one there doesn't seem to have one on that side. I'm not sure from factory if there's anything there or not, but it doesn't look like it's rubbing, so I think we're golden. So this car did have a narrowed 12 bolt in it, and the owner of this car swapped it out with a stock width 12 bolt. And the shop that put the rear end in didn't do a very good job. They just kind of stretched the brake lines. They didn't actually attach it correctly or anything. I don't know. They also have different size U-bolts inside and out with mismatched hardware. They had the mounting plates on the wrong sides. So all sorts of hokey things, but hopefully they did a good job where it counts in the middle. And so we'll see. But anywho's, let's go ahead and get this thing back on the ground. And there we have it. Moment of truth. Check the ride height here. Here we're about 13.25. And on this side, we're about 12.5. So we're about 3/4 of an inch off. So it still needs to be, driven and broken in. We'll see after a few miles, where it sits. But let me show you the old leaf springs so you can see where it was bent. We may have other issues above and beyond the bent leaf spring, but it's definitely closer, and it's sitting higher as well. But brand new leaf springs versus 50 some odd year old leaf springs. So I got the 2 springs sitting on top of each other. I don't know if you can already tell, but they are not lining up. You can see how that one's bent. Top one's bent. And it's from the traction bar pushing in right here. And that's precisely where it's bent. So that probably wasn't the whole problem, but it's definitely part of the problem. This thing has had a tough life. It was a 4-speed car, big block, and who knows how many times the clutch was dumped on this thing. Now the leaf springs are done, time to move on to the next step, which is to install this new Hurst shifter, because this is a 4-speed. And then after that, we're going to go ahead and install the intake manifold. Got the gaskets and everything to do that. So that way we can get this to sit a little lower to put the stock hood back on it. And then we're going to relocate the battery back up into the engine compartment, get it out of the trunk. Then we're going to go ahead and detrim the car, strip it down to metal, and repaint it. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe, hit the like, share, all that good stuff. And we'll see you on the next one.